Hey y'all, it is Friday the 2nd. Man, what a week. What a first quarter. As I was commenting on the last one, there's just so much happening, with last month being what it was, right? With the change, with the bomb being dropped on the industry of Fannie and Freddie now not able to have more than 7% of their entire portfolio to have second homes and investment properties in it. When you consider that and us having to find new places to park these loans, there's some nuances with each place we have to park it. You can't necessarily underwrite it directly to Fannie Freddie guidelines. Pretty dang close, but there's little nuances you got to be aware of. So we've had to touch files. I don't know how many times. It's like building a house and have to go back into the wall several times to check things. So it's really kind of tough to have to go in there and keep doing that. But we were able to accomplish quite a bit last month. Still, the team worked their guts out a lot of late nights. Some of us seen them clear deals, underwriters at 1 o'clock in the morning. I think I commented on that before. To the extent that we still was able to break 137 transactions last month, which is pretty remarkable, being the fact that we had to reprocess quite a few of those. So my team just kicked ass. I'm really, really happy for them. Doesn't change that we still have a lot that we're trying to catch up on, right? But we did hire a new processor. Big deal for me. Trying to find somebody in the industry that knows how to do this is real tough because our industry right now is cannibalizing itself. Anything it can do to take from each other, I'm having to bring up from bringing people in that outside the industry to teach them as to help expand the team. I was able to get Roberta Anderson to come aboard, which is just awesome. She's been doing this a very long time. She fits in really well with our crew and our ability to process at a high level. So we're hoping that's going to help open up some of the bottleneck and get some of these turn times to improve a little bit more. We're always striving to improve that. Doesn't mean we're going to be perfect. We're going to work our guts out for that. So I'm going to show the charts today. Let's talk about something real quick here. The 30-year fix. A lot of people are freaking out about that rate going up. I'm going to show you where we're at. This is the 3.0. You're going to notice this is a different chart than what you've seen in the past, just because the other service that I was using, they changed something on it. I can't access it to save my life. I spent 20 minutes trying to get into it today, and I'm done. We get a hold of that outfit. They can either help me figure this out, or I'm out of there. I'm going to cancel that subscription. But we saw a jobs report come in here, and it's showing that 916,000 new jobs are created in March, which was stronger than what they were expecting of 675,000 jobs. That right there, plus some positive revisions in January and February with an additional 156,000 jobs. The thought process, okay, well, the economy is doing better. That does have a negative impact on bonds. There is this improvement in the unemployment rate as well, but when you really start getting into the real deep numbers, unemployment improved from 6.2% to 6%, but it's derived from a survey that was done. And with that survey and looking at the job creations and all that kind of stuff, you really start digging into it. And that, those are some people cannot return to work due to pandemic reasons. There's people that are still unemployed. There's still people that are not counted. When you start looking at that, you start seeing that the real unemployment number, when you start adding all these things in or not counting in these reports, there's estimation of about 8.4%. Just with counting some of the people that were, out due to pandemic reasons. Then there's some misclassification errors also being considered when I'm looking at some of the data I'm getting. So you get into the full unemployment rate, and you start looking at part-time jobs that are there for economic reasons. There's just a whole bunch of data out there. We could be sitting somewhere right around 10.7%. So just know that some of the numbers we're seeing aren't quite exactly covering all the spectrum. So as a result of that, there may be a little bit of an off understanding, of course, of where the economy sits. Now, what does that mean? A lot of people will say, well, if it's really worse than it should be, then we should see bonds improve and we should see interest rates get better. But when we're thinking about the rates, we're thinking about a 30-year fixed. A 30-year fixed, in my opinion, Aaron Chapman's opinion, is the absolute worst investment for a bond. Right, to put something in there for 30 years and get paid back over 30 years with a declining instrument in an inflationary environment. We've talked about this several times. We've shown the charts. We've shown how if you hold out and pay every single month for 30 years, you pay less than you actually borrowed in today's rate environment. That you actually have to bridge over 7% when you're considering true rates of inflation. And that's a person who's really discerning with where they spend their money, not somebody who just spends it the normal ways. again, this is just my opinion and my estimation on things, that you'd have to hit some pretty high interest rates, comparatively speaking, to get to a point where you're even paying back what you borrowed. Often we're getting too wrapped up in what is going on in the rate. Just know it's the worst investment for somebody else on the other side. Whoever's putting up that capital for you to buy that investment property, to hold that for 30 years, to collect the cash flow, to continue to raise rents, is losing money on you. You're capitalizing on that. You get to raise rents. You get to pay less and less and less. You get what they call arbitrage on that. Don't hesitate. Don't allow this to slow you down. Take advantage of the opportunity that people are willing to do. If they're willing to put it up, great, do that. Pay on time. Make sure you're making those payments. Pay them early. Remember, when you close, you got a payment coming. Don't wait for your statement to show up. Keep track of your systems. Keep track of your obligations. This is a business. You should be a CEO of a business, keeping track of things. Know when things are supposed to be due. Be well ahead of it, not waiting for somebody to warn you or tell you, right? Business, this is a business you need to be responsible for. I've heard some people talk about when rates go up or things go crazy or there's a crash. I've heard the word strategic default. Don't get sucked into that. Don't think about that. This is phenomenal opportunity. People that go through crashes come back out the other side better shape, right? Don't allow some of that thinking to sink in to you and make you think that, hey, I'm gonna take a different way out. No. Stick with your obligations, maintain your obligations, see those through. So I appreciate you guys, and we'll be circling back around on Tuesday.